Welcome everyone. Today we have Satyam from the batch of 2013 who is going to speak on career opportunities in economics. At present, Satyam works for RBI and based in Mumbai, and his academic qualifications include bachelor's from Sri Ram College of Commerce, and he did his master's from Delhi School of Economics. So without much ado, I will pass on the moderation responsibilities to Abhishek, his batchmate. Abhishek, typically what we do, you may like to introduce Satyam, how he was in Vidyapit, some funny incidents if you can recall, and then pass on the baton to Satyam for his Adda. Then we will conclude the session with a thank you note. I hope it all goes well. And thank you, Satyam, for this session. And Abhishek, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thanks, Sutesa. Satyam asked me to moderate this session yesterday. So I was thinking ki kya bolu, kaise batao. Satyam to me is a many things. He's not just a friend, but among other things, he's a lot many things to me. If I have to put it like that, we shared a lot of things in common. Satyam, for first and foremost, he is an avid lover of cricket. Secondly, he's a connoisseur of Hindi literature. He just loves Hindi literature, and he writes wonderful pieces in Hindi. चाहे वो हमारे यहाँ के जो our whether it used to be our annual magazines, or I've read his pieces in the magazines that he wrote for Shri Ram College of Commerce as well. He writes amazingly in Hindi. So अगर मतलब RBI वगैरह से कभी मन भर जाए तो do give it a thought. मतलब you can have a very nice career in Hindi literature as well. So I won't go into his academic qualifications and his academic achievements because we all of us know about it, what he has done. There are many things, but Satyam, those who know Satyam, I've known him personally for a great many years, would know there are few things which I admire a lot about him, and that is how to face adversities in life. He takes them head on and come out of it with a smile. He had to face lot many things in his life when normally people shouldn't. He lost his parents at a young age while he was in school and then in college, and he came out all of it. He had to face a lot, and I'm not going to into all of that stuff, but he came. The best thing about him is the smile that he still wears. You meet him and he will greet you with such a nice smile that fills your heart with warmth. He's a very warm person. He's that guy जिसके बारे में मम्मी पापा, your parents, teachers would tell you कि देखो इसको देखो, सत्यम को देखो, इसके जैसा बनना है. He's that kind of guy. So he's a just what should I say? He's a very amazing guy. And without much further ado, I would now pass the baton to Satyam. Satyam, please take it over from here.
Thank you, Gar, for your kind introduction. Gar, it was a very short notice. Yesterday only I asked Gar to actually moderate the session, and what I have known about Gar, like he was the anchor in almost all of our programs that we did in Vidyapit, and if I remember correctly, he won the best presenter award in the annual exhibition that we have in Vidyapit. So I could not have asked for a better person to actually act as a moderator for the event. So thank you for agreeing to, first of all, agreeing to it, and the wonderful.
The pleasure is mine.
Thank you so much. So now I will start sharing the screen. Let me know when it's visible. Is it visible now?
It is visible.
Okay, so first of all, the topic that I chose, beyond engineering and medical career opportunities in economics. So Uh, the first of all, economics is very close to me. I have like spent quite a lot of time, or at least for the last 9 years, I have been studying economics to in some form the other. And now I have a career in which I will be studying it for even longer. So I thought I have some experience that I can share with alumni members, so it can help their either their children or even the current batches like who are yet to pass from Vidyapit. So that was the primary motivation behind choosing the topic. So before thinking about whether it is the right topic or not, what I did yesterday was I actually designed a survey that I circulated amongst my batchmates just to get an idea whether the topic is relevant or not, or whether I have just chosen something that is not having any meaning at the moment. So I did a survey, and we have a batch of around 70 people, and 12 of them actually responded. Thanks to all of them. So that has given me some insights on the suitability of the topic. So I will share the results because the results are interesting and very relevant to the topic that I will discuss in the session. So the first question that I asked my batchmates is, uh, what motivated you to choose your field of study? So there were first of all they were asked to uh, rank they were asked which field they chose after class 12th, and of course they had four options: arts, medical, commerce, and engineering. Of course law was not there. There was an other column, so you could have filled it. So the top two results that I got was was one was the interest in subjects, which is fine, and the next was good financial prospects after completion of the course. So what I think that if you are really looking for a career that fulfills these two aspects, then economics does not fare much worse. So if you are interested in economics and are a bit concerned about the financial prospects after completion of the course, then I think economics will serve both the purposes if you carry it forward in a good way. So that is the first result that we got. The second result that I asked my batchmates was, did you like economics in secondary classes, that is in class 9th and 10th? And the results were like it actually even surprised me, because the results were overwhelmingly yes. So out of 12, 11 people actually answered that they actually liked economics in the secondary classes. So that's an endorsement of the kind of teaching that we have in Vidyapit also. So economics, it has a very low weightage in the social sciences at the secondary level, but still they have managed to put teachers that would generate interest in the subject. So that is another result that I got. So, and the third was, and this is actually the most interesting question that I asked. So, if the choice of subjects in senior secondary were not related to further career choice, would you have studied economics in 11th and 12th? So, a lot of people who were interested in class 9th and 10th, but because it did not align well with their choice. So, suppose you wanted to study economics, if you wanted to take medical as a career option, then of course economics does not fit into the scheme of things. But the I just a bit of just a bit of modification to that. That was, if it was not relevant whether you chose economics or not, would you still for your career would you take economics? And there, if you see the answers, it says that out of 12 people, at least 8 of them were to some extent open to actually studying economics in 11th and 12th. But again, because it did not align well with their career choices, maybe they opted not to study for it. So there was some interest, and there was interest also to study it further. Uh, and this was one question that I think we can take it further in our conversations in Vidyapit management. So should Vidyapit start offering arts and commerce a stream in senior secondary classes? And 11 out of 12 people actually said that yes, we should have other streams in Vidyapit. You see, this is a very rapidly changing world, and we are having people excelling in multiple fields today. So restricting our curriculum in Vidyapit to only engineering and medical uh, uh, actually it does not lead to any optimal outcomes, because some people who could excel in some fields like commerce, accountancy, actually don't even have the opportunity to study it at Vidyapit, and then they have to move out. So this is one another result that I got. And there was this last question. So do you think your batchmates had low awareness about career avenues in arts and commerce related subjects during Vidyapit? And I think 10 out of 12 people actually said that they did not have proper awareness and guidance. That was, and this is what I felt during Vidyapit also. So when I was in class 10th, I was very inclined towards having going for a complete arts stream. So I would take political science, history, and all those subjects. But again, the environment was this, and there was no proper guidance at that point of time. Even the internet, the kind of things that we have on internet that can guide a person in confusion, that was also not very prevalent at that point of time. So in a spot of confusion, I actually went on to take science and took economics because it was available at Vidyapit. So this is one more result, and all of these results in combination actually suggest that there is some interest in economics. And because maybe if there was a proper career guidance, a lot more people would have taken economics in further studies. So this was just a brief survey that I did yesterday. Now coming to the topic for the day. So why I chose this subject, why I chose this topic. So so first of all, in my batch in the senior secondary section, we had 57 students, and it is very surprising that so we had to select 1/5 subject. So we had physical education, computer, and economics was offered to us, and only 2 out of 57 batchmates in our senior secondary section actually opted for economics. So one was me, and another was Purushottam Datta. So, and to the praise of Vidyapit, I would say Vidyapit actually tried. Vidyapit did not actually think that we have only 2 people, so we can actually scrap the subject or maybe ask them to opt for another subject. We had, for only 2 of us, they actually they actually hired a teacher, because Sevalda actually left midway during our time, and guided us to for our exam. So so one was because, so I think if the kind of requirements that economics has, more people could have opted for economics, but because they were not very sure about what to do with it in further studies, they opted not for it. And the second point that I say is lack of proper guidance in secondary section about career avenues in arts and commerce. Again, this is something I discussed, that because you live in an environment where everything is about science, 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 so you actually fail to explore other areas. So now we have these Adda sessions where people come who have excelled in actually other fields. Now we realize that Vidyapit students have gone beyond science and done excellent work in other fields also. So this kind of framework was not available at that point of time, and because Vidyapit is a closed kind of very closed kind of environment. So even so, we are having these Adda sessions here, but I'm not sure how many Vidyapit current students would get a chance to listen to it. So these things are still there, and so I think a recorded session on economics will help some students who might want to explore this area. And the third part is to nudge students and parents to explore avenues beyond conventional career path. So it's very easy to actually go with whatever conventional career paths are popular at a point of time, and it does not mean always that those career paths actually will fetch you some good rewards in the medium to long run. So as far as I remember, when we were in class 10 or class 12, engineering was like engineering was at the peak of its popularity, and after that, I think in the last 1 decade, the popularity of engineering has to some extent come down, because then people have realized that there is too much supply and the demand may not be so much. So, and the pay packages, they don't actually meet your expectations at the end of the course. So even if some course is very popular at a point of time, in the medium to long run, you might realize that it was at the peak that you chose the subject, and after that, so it happened with MBA at a point of time. It has happened with engineering. You never know. I am talking about economics today. It might happen something. This similar economics might also go the similar way. So and the next option, the next point was limited options at the senior secondary level in Vidabit, which I have discussed that Vidabit can actually do much better if they offer arts and commerce to its students, and those students who are interested in that actually can get on to make a good career in it. And this is last point why I think is very important, that uh, Vidyapit students, so they are like, they already go through a selection process at class 6th, and even those who join in class 11th, they have to go through an exam, and rigorous process is there. So we already have a batch of cream students there, and a lot of them actually do want to do well in engineering and other subjects. So the kind of requirement that economics has, so a basic thing that a good economics student would have is a good hold over mathematics. And because bit students do well in engineering, there is no reason why they can't excel in economics. So the kind of setup that we have in the Bidapit, I think students are very well placed to excel in the field. And so a bit more of awareness might actually nudge few students to actually opt for a career in economics. So these were a few broad points why I thought this topic is relevant for the talk. Okay, so before going forward, why I personally took on economics. So one major driver for me was, we had a brilliant teacher at secondary level. So we had Sevalda, and for all of my batchmates, those who have studied from him would actually agree with me that he was probably one of the best teachers that we had in Vidyapit. And it just goes on to show how having a good teacher at your school level can actually have such a long lasting impact on your career. So he taught us for a year in senior secondary section also, but then he had to leave for some reason. But I think the base that he found was found with us in economics actually has helped me, and the way he taught actually has had some impact on my thinking that actually helped me in my further studies in the economics. Another reason I took arts, because at the senior secondary level we had two options: either you take computer, physical education, or economics. So of course I had to opt for economics because no other art subject was offered. And the third reason why I carried on with economics was I got admission in Sri Ram College of Commerce, and my family members, again, they were not very inclined to get me admitted in a course of economics honors. So I had got admission. I would have got admission in some NIT also. I had a rank of around 24,000 at that point of time. Maybe the brand of the college, the Sri Ram College of Commerce, you get to hear the 100% cutoffs and all those. So they actually had, so they thought that if so many brighter students are going there, then he will also maybe do something good. So let him go. So maybe the brand of the college that time helped me, and a leap of faith. So again, even with everything, even I was not very certain at that point of time. So because everybody, because in Bihar and Jharkhand, you see people don't actually opt for a career in economics. Even today, a lot of people would ask me that, what do you do in Reserve Bank? Like, is it a SBI PO job? So there is a lack of awareness, and because we also we were also brought up in that setup, and so I did not have a very clear path what I would do after taking economics. But to some extent I had feeling that whatever possible options would be there, I will figure it out to some extent. So there was some faith in myself there at that point of time, so that prompted me to actually go with economics. So moving on, so the next thing is, who should actually study economics? This is one question that comes. So when you have to make choice of a subject that would be studying for next 3 to 5 years, we actually tend to think over it that is the subject right for me? Am I the right person actually to study this subject? So somebody who would be a good speaker would actually go for law, like Garg did. So he has to argue cases in the court, and so all of these things. So there are some interpersonal skills that you have, and you think that it's a good fit for some course, and you tend to actually do those courses. So somebody would be good in technical skills, he might actually go for engineering courses. So this question that comes, who should actually study economics? And for this, I think John Maynard Keynes, he is one of the most renowned economists. You must some of you must have heard about him also. So he has a very good quotation, and I would read for the benefit of all. The master economist must possess a rare combination of gifts. He must reach a high standard in several different directions and must combine talents not often found together. He must be mathematician, historian, statesman, philosopher in some degrees. He must understand symbols and speak in words. He must contemplate the particular in terms of the general and touch abstract and concrete in the same flight of thought. He must study the present in the light of the past for the purpose of the future. And I think this summarizes what the field of economics is all about. So it's not that you have to study only one, you have to excel in only one aspect. So if you are interested in any aspect of human life, I think you are within the interest zone of economics. So because economics has so many subfields today, that even you will find something of your interest. So if you are interested in caste, gender, so these are the sociology related subjects, then you have if you are if you are interested in environmental issues, then we have environmental economics. If you are interested in GDP data and all those fancy stuff that we keep on reading in newspapers, you can excel in macroeconomics. We have new upcoming branches of economics. So health economics is there, behavioral economics is there. Then we have, if you are interested in public policy, then you can opt for studying public choice theory. So so in the in so what I would like to say that anybody and everybody is fit to study economics. It's just that if you are interested in any aspect of human life, economics has something to offer for you. You just have to figure it out how you would pursue it in further studies. So somebody would take a very mathematical and quantitative approach. You might opt for a qualitative approach. Somebody would opt for high fancy machine learning and artificial intelligence. Somebody would go for field surveys, field visits, and get a taste of what's happening on the ground. So I think anybody who has some interest in social sciences can actually go for a career in economics. So now moving forward, so once you have opted for economics, so what subjects actually do you study during graduation days? So in the first year, if in whichever college you go, you will have to study a lot of mathematical courses and statistical courses. So when we went to Delhi University, actually in the first year we had like two mathematics courses, two courses in mathematics and two courses in statistics, and we had only one course in economics. So initially we thought that we have actually enrolled for some mathematics and statistics course, and we have hardly learned anything of economics in the first year. But again, these are very important. So the first thing that you study during your undergrad days is mathematics and statistics, and from the second year onwards you will study more courses in economics that would so it would be macroeconomics, micro. Econometrics is again a mix of mathematics and statistics. It's a tool that you can use to analyze various relationships in social sciences. Then so as you progress, you will have to study more courses, and there are few elective courses, so you can opt for courses that match your interests. So political economics, where you study about Karl Marx and his theories. Indian economic development, in which you you learn about what the economic history of India, and development economics are courses that are relevant from a sociology point of view. So these are the courses that one has to study during graduation. And apart from mathematics, statistics, and the conventional courses of economics, you will also get some feel of some statistical packages like R, Stata, and EViews. Again, these are very introductory. These will be taught at a very introductory level in graduation, but if you opt for further studies in economics, these would become very handy for you. So once you have graduated in economics, so what are the further career options that you have? So the first thing that you can do after graduation is, which I did, was study further. So I opted for a course in Masters in Economics. So a MA course in economics is available in almost all the major universities of the country, but courses at Delhi School, Indian Statistical Institute, and maybe JNU are more popular. So the first thing is you carry on you build upon your knowledge at the graduation level and study further for another 2 years. So and this I think is a very I would advise anybody to actually go for further studies after graduation. So if you are opting for economics after 12th, then have a horizon of at least 5 years to study, because if people have done very well after actually leaving studies after even graduation, but you should actually plan for 5 years. So if something does not work out, you actually have a good backup in the subject that you have studied for last 3 years. So Masters in economics is a very popular choice that a lot of students should take. Then MBA is another good avenue that you can take after graduation in economics. So a lot of my batchmates actually went on to do MBA from IIMs and good IIMs. One of my batchmates actually did master MBA from London School of Business, and some of them also went abroad to do MBA courses. So economics, the kind of background that you have, it comes handy for even the entrance exam, because you are technically sound to appear in the exam, and even in the interviews, because you have a good analytical background. It might come handy for you. So in the economics entrances, in the MBA entrances, sorry. One more thing, if you are planning for an MBA after graduation, it is advisable to actually start your preparation second year onwards, that is fourth semester onwards, because if your MBA entrance in India is scheduled in the month of November, so you will have a full year to prepare for the exam, and if you get through in the first year, nothing like it. So Masters in Economics and Masters in Business Administration, these are two popular career choices that you can opt for. Even if you don't want a conventional want to go for a conventional master's program, you can opt for professional courses like CFA and FRM. So these would open avenues, career avenues for you in the field of finance. And you can also opt for actuarials. Actuarial sciences actually makes you actuarial scientist that can open job avenues in the field of insurance. So these are so CFA, FRM, actuarials actually don't directly make you something like what a CA degree would do. So you become a chartered accountant right after completing the degree, but completing these courses with a background graduation in economics will actually have make your CV a lot stronger, and you will have a good chance of getting a good placement opportunity in some finance firm. The next one, if you are interested in academia, that is some teaching opportunity, then you can opt for Masters in Economics. And actually it's not optional anymore. If you want to teach at university level, you have to do Masters in Economics in India. The kind of framework that we have for recruitment at in universities is almost mandatory that you have to go for Masters in India. Corporate placements, again, top colleges in India may provide you lucrative placement opportunities. However, you have to understand that the kind of packages that are offered at the graduation level may not be very high. So At SRCC, I can say that when I was studying, and that was in 2016, the average, some of the students will get very high pay packages that gets reported in newspapers. So some would be getting 20, 18 lakhs, 20 lakhs. But again, if you see in a batch of 120, 30 students, there would be only a handful of them. But on an average, the packages would not be so astronomical. So, and on an average, I think the package would hover somewhere around 6 to 7 lakhs, 6 to 8 lakhs in SRCC, and in other colleges it might be even lower. So corporate opportunities are there if you have done very well during your graduation days, but if you are an average student, you might not find a very lucrative corporate placement at that point of time. And the job profiles that are offered at the after graduation, so they are the conventional consulting, investment banking, analyst, business development associates, and trade, and even trading firms would come and hire you. So these are the options that you have after graduation. Again, another thing is you can work for think tanks. So we have in India, we have a lot of think tanks who would publish reports and other things. So you can opt for a short-term assignment with them, and then there are civil society organizations, multilateral organizations like World Bank also hires people with a graduation degree. So if you have a good, if you have a very good uh, good if you have good record in your graduation, then actually you can get hired by World Bank after graduation. And nowadays, and it's a very positive development that a lot of ministries keep coming up with internship opportunities after economics. Again, these are open to all sort of courses, but I think the kind of ministries we have, so in the sum of the ministries, having an economics degree might come handy for you. And the next option is, again, and this is something that a lot of people would take, is to prepare for government exams. So UPSC, RBI Grade B. So RBI Grade B has actually 3 kinds of exam. And so for the general category exam, you have to be only a graduate to appear in the exam. But for the DPR and so that is a specialization in economics, and there is a one post for a specialization in statistics. So for them, you need to have a master's degree, and then you can opt for to sit in state civil services. So these all options you have uh, after graduation. Again, these are not economics specific, but again, if one thing that I would like to add here, that economics as an optional is not a very bad choice if you are going for civil services, because I have appeared with economics optional in my state civil services exam, and I have seen people in economics actually do very well. Not a lot of people would take economics in the state civil services. In UPS, you will, for every year, you think you will find that there would be some toppers who would have cracked the exam with economics. So so economics is not a bad choice for optional also. So your graduation knowledge actually comes handy while you prepare for the exams. Even the RBI Grade B exam, a lot of economic and finance concepts you would have already studied when you were doing your graduation. And the last option that I said is you can go opt for a own startup. Again, this, when I was in SRCC, and a lot of people would come and speak with us and would motivate us that next 10 years or next 20 years are going to be going to be like years in which India will shine. So next 2 decades are going to be India's years. And if you are able to do something of your own on your own, you have immense growth potential. And with thanks to Shark Tank, actually this thing has actually picked up also. So today there are a lot of support for you in university. So you have incubation cells and all those things. If you are from a very good university, you can get the seed funding from there also, and again from government supported programs. And if you happen to be from a good college, you can leverage on your alumni network and get some funding from there. So there is the support system that we have in some of the good colleges in India, that is very good. So if you are interested in something like that, I think economics along with a good along with the brand of a good college can help you actually launch a good startup, start your journey towards that. um, So moving onwards, so after graduation you move to masters. So in masters, actually you build up on your subjects that you studied during graduation. So and in most of the colleges, what happens, there would be some core subjects that you have to study. So like basic micro, basic macro, statistics, econometrics. So those would be compulsory for you to study. But again, you will have a vast list of subjects in which you have to choose some elective subjects. So depending on your further career plans, actually you may choose a selection of subjects which will help you in further pursuing PhD. The syllabus at master's level actually differs from college to college. So in some of the colleges like Delhi School or Indian Statistical Institute, the syllabus may be a bit mathematically demanding. So if you don't have a very good mathematical background, then you might actually have to struggle a bit in these colleges. But then we have so many colleges in the country that you can opt for a less mathematically demanding college and pursue any course that you would like to take further in PhD. So at DS school, some of the courses that was offered to us. So I actually don't have a lot idea about syllabus at other universities, but I think taking Delhi University as a benchmark, I would say that to some extent some modification of these courses would be offered in other universities also. So in Delhi school we were offered microeconomics, and within microeconomics you will have courses on game theory, contract theory, mathematical economics, international trade theory, etc. You will have macroeconomics, so you can choose between so there would be one compulsory course on macroeconomics, and after that you will have number of electives, so dynamic macro, monetary policy and theory, etc. And going further, so in Delhi school there are also courses on econometric methods and applications, and within econometric methods you will have different separate specialization courses in time theory, and other. So if I think within econometrics also we had 4 to 5 sub courses in which we had the option to choose. Then we will have you will have to study, you will be offered some course on finance, economic history, public policy, development economics, industrial economics. So uh, the reason why I am talking about all the courses, because if you see there is a wide array of courses that you can choose as per your interest. So it's not that if you have offered if you are doing masters in economics, you will have a very rigid course. So you can opt for courses that match your interest. So I had taken one course that was named Economics of Discrimination. So it basically talked about caste discrimination in India, how gender pay parity is not is biased in favor of males. So these are the courses that actually are not offered in other universities. And if so, even if somebody is not very inclined towards a conventional conventional server streams like macro and micro, he has a number of avenues to actually do his economics masters or thesis in other directions. So now coming towards the end of the presentation. So what options now do we have after masters? So again, as I said, the placement opportunities might not be very good after graduation, but after masters, believe me, the placements are as good as you would get in any MBA college. So I won't go as far as saying that the placements are would be comparable to a tier 1 MBA college, but they are at least comparable to a tier 2 MBA colleges. And if you get admission in some of the good colleges of India, you might just match them in whatever career avenues that are offered to MBA students. And so if you have and the job roles, again, they don't differ very much between what you are offered in graduation level. So you will have all those analyst and business development associate roles that would be offered, and there will be roles in consultancy. So now a lot of people are actually not very much inclined towards corporate placement, so they would like to study, so they'd like to go for teaching career. So for that you have to appear in UGC NET exam, and after that, if you So UGC NET exam actually has two levels. So at the basic level, you get a NET degree that makes you eligible for teaching in a university. And if you do very well, you get a JRF degree. So having a JRF degree actually helps you get a good stipend if you opt for a PhD program in India. So if you are thinking of staying in academia, you have to appear in UGC NET exam. And if you clear JRF, very good. Um, uh, PhD in India, again, there is a huge debate at the moment that a lot of the bright students at the current juncture actually opt for a PhD from abroad. So so that's a whole thing in itself. So whether to pursue a PhD in India or abroad is a debatable. But uh, for pursue today we have enough opportunities in India also actually. So if you want to pursue a PhD, if you get into some of the good colleges, they will match your expectations, which you usually associate with a college outside India. Uh, in the state universities or say some other universities, the quality of teaching might not be quality of teaching, and the kind of resources available for you to do your research might not be very good. So if your target should be actually to get in one of the premier colleges, or maybe even the IITs and IIMs are offering good PhD programs in economics currently. So now one more good career option that you have is you can work with think tanks or research organizations. So we in RBI have Center for Advanced Financial Research and Learning, which we call CAFRAL. So people would join CAFRAL, and they would do some research that is interest for that is in alignment with the job with the roles and responsibility of Reserve Bank. And for a couple of years they work, and then it acts as a good it will add value to their CV. And after once they wish to pursue further PhD programs in India abroad, it acts as a enabler in their further career choices. So we have a number of think tanks. So a lot of people would actually pursue a career in those think tanks only. So they would go on to build up a career from the scratch. So we have JPAL, National Council for Applied Economic Research, and a number of private research firms are also there. So if you are interested in research, but maybe not that much interested in a PhD, or confused about whether you want to do a PhD or not, then for a brief period of time, say a couple of years, you can actually work with these research organizations, and it will act like a pre-PhD program for you. Um, and the last option, which is again towards the public sector, is you can appear in the Indian Economic Services exam, which is conducted by UPSC only. So the thing is, for appearing in Indian Economic Services exam, you have to have a master's degree, and that also in economics or some of its closely related subjects. So having a master's degree in economics actually makes you eligible to appear in the exam. And similarly with RBI DEPR, so that is a Department of Economic and Policy Research. So you need to have a master's degree to appear in the exam. SEBI also comes up with recruitment that requires a master's degree in economics. A lot of economics specific job roles that are offered in India currently require you to have a master's degree. So that is one of the that is also one of the primary motivations for you to actually plan for a 5-year course in economics, that will give for a 5-year horizon in economics. So that will make you eligible to appear in these exams also. So after masters, again, you have to opt for, you can opt for a PhD, but again you have to understand that the curriculum and nature of the subject is rapidly changing. So previously what happened that if you are going for a PhD, it means you are going for a career in academia, so you will have to teach somewhere. But now the kind of skills that are required at the PhD level, it makes you very much capable in doing quantitative research. So you will find economists doing tremendous work in artificial intelligence, machine learning. So, so as a result, what happens that their job roles are currently no longer restricted to academia or some government organizations. So, if you see this, this is a screenshot of an article that I got from internet. So, Amazon is one of the Amazon hires is one of the largest recruiters of PhD economists in the world. In US, I think it was the largest recruiter even after Federal Reserve. So, so companies are now realizing that people who are good in economics can actually add value to their businesses. So uh, so all these firms like Amazon over Facebook, so they are using economists as key advisors on nearly every business decision and are using their enormous amount of data to replace intuition with science. So so if you are if you are thinking about a career in economics, just don't think that you have to only go for a career in academia. All the major banks in India, if you've heard about Soumyakanti Ghosh, he's the chief economist at the SBI. Citibank has a chief economist. So these are posts that are in the private sector that are available for PhDs in India. So if you have a PhD and some working experience, you can have a very good career in private sector in India as well as abroad. Uh, so even government organizations are today actually looking for people who have a PhD degree, and you might not get a permanent job there, but the kind of but the direction in which we are moving today, you will have like roles for of consultants that keep coming up. PhD economists are widely in demand today as a role in the role of consultant. So in RBI we have few consultants who had done PhD and are now working with the RBI. So that's all I think. That's all from my side. If there are any questions, then I would be happy to take them.
Wow. Thank you so much, Satyam. It was really enlightening. I think you covered all the various aspects related to economics and the different, not only just, I wouldn't say just the career opportunities, but you described economics as a subject very beautifully, its different branches, and how one can maneuver through various fields of economics as per their wishes, choices, and the passion that they might have. So now I will take up questions. If any one of you have any questions for Satyam regarding anything related to career opportunities in the field of economics or economics just as a subject, so please feel free and ask the question. Anyone?
Hello everyone. So Sukriti this side. Oh, sorry, I just interrupted. If that is okay, I can see
No, no,
few
no,
people
no.
raising their hand.
Please go ahead. We can take questions one at a time. You can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So thanks Satyam for this very detailed and expressive session. I think we all have a very good clarity by now that how economics is really shaping our day-to-day life. So just one query, maybe one doubt, or we can say that just a kind of clarity which I want to have, because if we see our web, then it is full of kind of information which we need, but again the same thing is making us so confused that what to opt for and if that is good or not. So I'm just want to have that I just want to know that if a person, let's say he is studying in class 5 or 6 or 7, how he or she should start preparing for economics, how they should take this subject, because sometimes we see that if they will google that how economics how to start this subject and what are the career opportunity, they get lost in some kind of, I will say, uh, excessive knowledge. So how you will guide those people who has just started the economics in their for a career opportunity?
Uh, Look, economics in India, I think I don't know how it is done in other countries, but in India, we start studying, we start studying economics class 9th onwards. While for the other sciences, social sciences, we don't have to wait for so long. So we study history all along, we study political science all along, we study geography all along, but for economics the course starts in class 9th, and I don't know how it has been framed um, but for somebody who is in at a school level at the moment, because even in class 9th and 10th you see economics has a very small syllabus. So practically till secondary section nobody hardly studies economics. uh, uh, for somebody up to his class 10th, if he is so motivated on his own to study, I think the kind of things that we have in 11th and 12th, they are pretty basic. So if somebody is interested in studying economics, he can actually uh, read some of those books that are taught at the senior secondary level. uh, the career opportunities, again, you are right in saying that we have so many we don't have any structured way of guiding people at the moment, but at least I think even unstructured, the things are pretty better today. Like in our times, I think and when I say in our times, we are actually the most of the recent batches only. So even 10 years back, we did not have all this geo revolution and so much content on internet. Even at that time, we don't things have improved a lot today. So if somebody is genuinely interested in finding or reading about something, there is no way he won't find something related to that on internet. So even though unstructured, I think the information flow is much more conducive for the students today. So I think that to some extent answers your question.
Yep,
Uh,
sure. Thank you. Thanks, Satyam. Yeah.
the floor is open. Who would like to go next? I thought someone had raised a hand before. If you can please come up with your query.
Ritesh, please go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you for this wonderful session, and I think you have covered it well. It's not a question, but just a add-on. You're very right that uh, economics as a subject and economists have a great and varied field to choose from as far as profession is concerned. For example, in my previous work in London, which my firm was one of the biggest engineering and uh, design firm. So we had a completely separate economics department where, because the company used to do master plans for big cities, towns, etc. So we had urban economists, we had transport economists. Basically, if you see in some of the big cities in India, there is a chaos. We were talking about the flooding, and we were talking about not having not enough infrastructure, So that basically this job of this economist was when we do a new city, for example, I was also involved with the new Cairo city, new Kuwait city. Now we are also not I'm not in that company anymore. There is a new Lahore city coming up. So in all these projects, we have at least 4 or 5 economists working together who specialize in different fields. I personally know quite a few transport economists and urban economists who work on this for these big projects. So as far as the profession is concerned, it's a great field to go for. And economics is just not economics, or some people go into trading or finance or advisory, but you have very tangible uh, outcomes from the work you can see. So just add on to your work. Thank you.
Actually, I had one line on transport and urban economics in my last slide, which I did not cover to some, but yeah, these are again emerging fields. We have one consultant in our department at the moment who was previously working as a transport economist. So even I have been in the field for like 8-9 years. It was new for me also. So he explained to me what is the role of a transport economist. And urban economist, as you said, is such a very emerging field with the kind of urbanization that we have we are seeing. So these are fields whose demand is going to like remain for the next couple of decades or for several decades. So yes, that's a good point actually you have put forward. Thank you.
Among the audience, we have Abhishek Gaun, who himself is an economist and he did his PhD. Abhishek, would you like to add something, please?
Hi, Ritesh. Yes, I heard Satyam about this. Hello, everyone. So I did my graduation from Delhi University, like Satyam did, but back in 2002 to 5. Back then, the things were very different. The course material were very theoretical, and now that when I'm working in this field outside India, it was not up to the mark of international standard. Barring macro and few other courses, they were not up to the mark. But as I heard lately that that course has been changed quite a bit on econometric side and more mathematical side of it, which is encouraging to hear. Uh, just to add to all your points that Satyam has told, this is my personal view, obviously. The career opportunities abroad in economics is way beyond what's in offer in India, although it has increased quite a lot in last 4 or 5 years. So in India, the mentality is more about engineering and medicine, and then economics and other field come as an like the third or fourth option. But whereas outside in developing countries, economics is one of the most premier subjects to take actually, and it is very like one of the highest paid jobs in London, especially. So I have joined Unicredit Bank after my PhD, and then I joined the emerging market team there as an economist, junior economist, and I worked there for 5 years, and it's very good career for young people to take actually. And I can guide any RKM juniors if they want to reach out to me and help want any information. And currently, I'm working with Canadian Pension Fund, where I'm managing uh, the emerging market book for local currencies. So I cover India very extensively. I do visit RBI once or twice a year, and I know most of your MPC members and your chief economist, etc. So you might be knowing. So as an investor, we do come there. So
Yeah,
I would encourage everyone. I would encourage everyone in future to take economics as a mainstream subject after class 10, and then it has a very bright future going forward.
uh, that's great to know actually. If you happen to visit RBI anytime in near future, please do let me know. I'd be happy to meet you there.
Yeah, sure. And the funny part is, I met Standard Chartered chief economist few years back in our office, and he's from our RKM. He's one of our RKM senior. So from 98 batch, Kumar covers India economics from Standard Bank. So,
And
and I
also,
was not sure. Yeah.
talking about whether economics is the premier career choice, I think in our batch, at least the All India CBSE topper, he took economics honors at Sri Ram College of Commerce. And then in my junior batch also, there was one guy who was in the All India CBSE topper in 2014. He also opted for economics honors in Sri Ram College of Commerce. So I think in the metro cities, this thing is there is much more awareness about the avenues that you have after economics. In Bihar and Jharkhand and other eastern states of the India, maybe the awareness is low. And every year, I think if you look at the data for last 10-20 years, at least because previously there used to be the admission to Delhi University were based on marks in class 12th, and most of the toppers would actually opt for economics honors in one of the premier colleges. So so now it has been replaced with an entrance exam this year onwards. So but previously I think at least in the metro cities the trend was there. It has to catch up in other parts of the country.
So over to you, Ritesh da.
I'm just trying to see. Anandip is also here. Anandip is an econometrician, and if he can hear me, he has done quite a lot of work with the UK government on the COVID policy and econometrician. As Anandeep, would you like to share some of your words of wisdom with the alumni and the students here, please? I think he can't hear me. Anyway, and also I sent a message. We have another senior, Indranil Dattada. He is in Manchester. He's a lecturer in economics. So we have quite a few people here working in that field. But Satyam, thank you very much for taking out your time and helping us understand about the subject and the career opportunities. Thanks, Abhishek. You could come and moderate this session in a very short period of time. And it was also, I think it was the first time, at least I saw you in the Adda. Hopefully in your batch and other junior batches or senior batches around your batch, they will be more participative and contribute more. So please make sure that this concept of Adda becomes more of a daily lingua franca for us, so that people can benefit. I also thank Abhishek, Gon, Chandan, Sankal, Vikas, Pratyush, Shaurabh, and all the other audience who have been here listening carefully. And that's all for now from us. We can...
Chandan here.
Hi, Chandan.
I'm in fact very sorry, very sad, and very ashamed to say that this is the first Adda session I'm joining today. And the reason is Satyam happens to be my classmate, and we recently we met somewhere in one of the marriage functions. Okay, and we have felt that this is very informative. So, in fact, I could not join because this happens mostly at 5 o'clock. And in fact, I'm going to start a new business. So I'm mostly occupied at that time in some other affairs. But if this Adda is so informative, then I would obviously like to join all the sessions, possibly skipping my other affairs. This was very informative. And Satyam, as you have seen, because Satyam, yes, and that also enables me to put one of my questions. My brother, he is appearing NEET examination today. That is for the admission into MBBS seats in India. So we could have asked him to go for economics, but he was not having that advantage of good teacher like Saibalda. And the other thing is economics as a subject in class 9 and 10 is so small and carry so much less weightage in social science studies that students generally choose to just remember the subject and go ahead and vomit in the examination. And that is why they do not generate the level of motivation to study economics further. But yeah, the times are changing now, because Satyam himself belongs from a family of doctors, and we were expecting that Satyam will be a very good doctor, but he happened to land in RBI. So the time is changing. We'll obviously have diversity in career opportunities and the career paths that our next generations choose. But yes, if Satyam could probably help me on this, that for example, my brother, he was not having the advantage of being student of Saibalda. So he could not learn the basic concepts in class 9 and 10, where we were studying about BMI and these things. So he just I think remembered everything and wrote the examinations and passed by good marks. And that's how he was never interested in social science. So if he could somehow, because this is not under our control, but if we could somehow try to change the scenario for at least our next generations, maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, what could we do?
I think the basic fault at the secondary level is the course starts in class 9th. I think so. At a personal level, if at a personal level, you have to have some demonstrative effect. So demonstration effect. So if you could if we could make people at the school level interact with people who have done good in economics, maybe the interest will be slowly, the interest might get generated. But again, the primary the primary solution has come from the curriculum itself. So you can't have only a small portion of economics, that also in class 9th and 10th, and expect people actually to make a big career decision just after 10th to pursue a career in economics. So to some extent, I think if we look some institutions like Vidyapit, so they have some flexibility on designing their curriculum. So you have a CBSE curriculum that everybody has to read, but you see Vidyapit has other subjects. We are expected to read ICB and all those things. So if the school administration, and it's not particular to Vidyapit, if any school administration actually feels that our students would benefit in the long run if they get to some exposure to any subject, so say accountancy or economics, then along with all the subjects, they actually might have a sub non some exposure to these subjects from class 6 onwards also. So you see, we are illiterate from an accounting point of view. Accountancy is a basic skill that everybody should learn to some extent, but it's not related to economics. But there are these some basic things that should be taught at a secondary level. So the secondary level curriculum needs some sort of redesigning, and if that is, but again, it's a long-term thing, it won't happen overnight. But if some schools like Vidyapit can take an initiative in the direction, maybe design some modules that would cover some of these things in the school curriculum.
Thank you, Satyam.
I think Ritesh, Abhishek, I'll wish to add something about Adda, if you have permission.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I think what the other person was talking about, I don't remember names. See, I think this Adda is wonderful if you have at least tried for at least couple of sessions. Now, why it is important is because, one, that we need to understand that whether we like it or not, Vidyapit happens to be a premier institution. In terms of performance, I'm talking about, you're selected and then you are sort of put into a rigor. The level of competitions are high, and then you go about and sort of be in the world and do good, whatever you're doing. What has happened, what is the better part of that is what I've been observing. And so whenever I get a time, I sort of attend it. You get such a diverse perspective in such a short period of time. And given the fact that the world is changing so fast, so rapidly, it's very difficult to sort of have a pace with what is happening in each of the disciplines. Having an alumni group which actually is on those frontiers, many of them, actually helps us to sort of figure out and position ourselves with respect to what is happening in the world. And that information is very useful for us, but also useful for the next generation, because we are also decision makers in some or the other way. So and surprisingly, I found very interesting work done by the Praktani. So that's what I wanted to add. And I would wish that more people, once you get addicted to it, I mean, I've almost got addicted to it, and whenever I get time, I just try to join it because people are doing really interesting work. So if you can also ask other people to join, and at least try to join one session, then you'll get a sense of it. That because now I'm thinking about trying to ask some of the speakers of Vidyapit to deliver lecture in my university, because I can find the merit of what they have been able to achieve in their own personal career. That's what I wanted to add, Abhishek. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So I think most of the questions are addressed now. If anyone has to add anything or
Ritesh, I'm not adding anything. I just wanted to inform you that I think Rahul Kant from my batch has also joined. I saw his name. Yeah, Rahul Kant has joined. So there is audible. I'm audible, Ritesta.
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. So there is one person from my batch. I was thrilled when I got to know that Satyam is presenting this Adda session. There is another person from my batch. His name is Shaurya Prakash. So he's also doing wonderful activities in social and rural management. He is a postgraduate from Shanti Niketan Vishwa Bharati, and he is pursuing his PhD. He is a JRF, and these days he is moderating many national and international seminars. He's also writing some books with his wife, and he is writing many papers in many of the journals with his wife.
And you forgot to
So
mention
probably
that
we
he
can
got
include.
recently married. You forgot to mention that he got recently married, so let us congratulate him as well.
Okay, so Ritesh, that also happens to be one of the unique career things that we could have seen. So we could probably have one of his sessions in the coming times.
Thanks, Chandan. In fact, it's a very good proposal, and that is what Sankalp and I and all the other participants have been trying to do, to get professionals from diverse field, So this is to give you a background. This is Satyam is the 31st Adda, and we had it is nearly 1.5 years now. We started last Feb, and we had professionals as diverse as a person who was in advertising, quit his job, started a kathi role in Bangalore. We have Pratyush Pranav here, who's an astrophysicist based in France. We had Anandip Mandal, who was an Adda speaker. He's an econometrician and working with, he teaches and he also collaborates with government at policy level. So yes, we would be glad to have people from your batch or any other Vidyapit alumni or even a student who would like to contribute. In fact, Satyam was very kind to come ahead along with Bikas, who is here, to volunteer and take care of Adda planning. So Satyam has all the details where, he will send the link to you or Abhishek, where the interested speakers who would like to contribute can fill up the form. It's just like what topic you'd like to speak on. Can you just describe a topic? And it comes to us, and then we, based on, in fact, our calendar is full for the next 2 years. So till 2025 September, we have every weekend of every month full. But there was such a good response, at least in terms of people coming and contributing. Instead of one Adda, we started 2 Addas. That's where Satyam and Vikas came up, and they picked up, wonderfully well planned, contacting people, getting the topic, getting the photographs. So Satyam knows what to do for at least your batch, and he will get in touch. And even Chandan or Abhishek, I don't know what's your professional background. If you want to come and speak something, it may not only be professional. The last session we had, one of the alumnus, he has traveled 70 countries. So his topic was 7 lessons from traveling 70 countries. So he just shared his experience. So it can be anything. Maybe you are a good singer, or you are a good writer, or you have a hobby which can inspire us. Please feel free to contact Satyam or anyone from the EC group. That would be great. But thank you, Chandan. And also I can see Rahul Kant. He has not spoken much, but thanks a lot. And Sankalpa, thank you.